Hello, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura, and today I'm going to talk about the best books that you've never. So today I'm going to talk about books that I absolutely adored and I wish more people had read because I'm just one person. I can't spread the word as much as I want to, so I need your help. You have to read these and spread the word too because I think these are books everyone will enjoy. So let's get started. So the first book I want to talk about is Girls with Bright Futures by Tracy Dobmeyer and Wendy Katzman. This is one of the first books I read when I got on NetGalley and I started doing Bookstagram, and this is just, it was like it was written for me. So this follows three women who all have daughters that are seniors in high school and want to go to Stanford. And they go to this like elite kind of prep school in Seattle, and all three of them come from kind of different backgrounds. One of the moms is like a very successful like tech person, and her daughter is kind of an average student. And then there's the mother of another daughter who is the assistant to the tech lady. And her daughter is like brilliant, but they don't have as much money. And then the third is just got a daughter who's really good at lots of stuff, but not the best at anything. And it's just kind of how these three women and their daughters interact and coexist as they're trying to fight it out to go to Stanford. And at the beginning of the book, there is an accident. One of them has an accident, and we do know who it is, so it's kind of feeling like Big Little Lies a little because we go back in time to see how it all started. But we do know who had the accident, and this one just addicted to it. I have recommended this to a lot of people, and I don't think I've recommended it to anyone that didn't like it, so this is a must-read. This came out 2 years ago, and it's still one of the books I always tell people that they have to read if they love, like, mommy drama. Another important thing that I forgot to say is that this is very much ripped from the headlines with the Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin college admissions scandal. So if you enjoyed that kind of roller coaster of drama, you will love this book. Next one is Cover Story by Susan Rigetti. I absolutely loved this. It was the perfect mix of like scammy book and like rich people problems book. So let me tell you a little bit more. This follows a woman who is an NYU writing student, and she has a rough year in school. She ends up getting an internship at Elle magazine in New York City, and she meets this woman named Kat, who is a contributing editor and kind of like a socialite and just has a big personality. And she sort of takes Laura, what's this girl's name, under her wing, and they become very close. And they kind of work out this deal where Laura is going to be a ghostwriter for Kat. She ends up getting like kicked out of her flat or her apartment. Ugh, I've been reading too many British books. She gets kicked out of her apartment, so she ends up moving into the plaza with Kat. But as soon as they start getting closer, like the walls come crumbling down, and she starts to see like, is this woman who I thought she was? And the ending, I've never, ever been so shocked by an ending, and then the book just ends. And it's complete. It's a full finished story. It's not like you're left hanging, but like it makes you want to reread it because it's like almost Sixth Sense-y, where you want to just be like, what? I want to go back and see all the things I missed that were clues along the way. So definitely a must read for the rich people drama, the scammy scam vibes, and yeah, this was a absolute 5-star read for me. One other thing that I absolutely love about it is the way that it's written. It has a lot of like emails, it has like letters, and that's just something that I love. So I haven't heard a lot of people talking about this, which I just don't get. So definitely pick this one up if you are into the same kind of books that I am. Next one that basically no one I know has read unless I've told them about it is How Not to Die Alone by Richard Roeper. This came out about 4 years ago, and I read it pretty quickly after it was released and absolutely fell in love. This was also released in paperback as a book called Something to Live For. It's the exact same book. I guess they thought that this title was just like not working and they thought they could market that better, but if you see a book by Richard Roeper called Something to Live For, it's the same book, so definitely pick that up. So this follows a guy named Andy who his job is to notify next of kin when someone dies. which is not a super fun job, as you can probably imagine. He's not very social with his coworkers. He doesn't have a lot of friends. He basically keeps to himself. But in his time working at this government agency, he has accidentally told a lie that he has like a wife and kids, and it's just kind of spiraled. It like happened in passing one day, and then it just got like out of control. So he does end up meeting this one coworker that he really connects with. She just started working at this agency, and basically it just becomes something he can't control, and like they start to have feelings for each other, and he can't keep this lie going. This one is just so tender, heartwarming, and really kind of sad, but like a good kind of sad. Like, just, you know, I love a book that kind of talks about human relationships in a huge way and how much, you know, we just need each other. This does sort of make me feel the same way the book Adelaide did that I read in January that comes out in April, but I mean, if you've watched any of my videos, I've been talking about it since I read it, so it gave me the same kind of feelings. And this is a book that, like I said, I've read so long ago, and I still can like hold on to the way it made me feel, and I can't recommend it enough if you're okay with reading about some death and just a little bit of morbidity surrounding death. I mean, there's nothing too crazy in it, but it will kind of make you feel. So be in the right headspace. But I feel like no one's heard of this, and I definitely recommend this to anyone that has a soul. So in addition to being a book lover, I'm also a beer lover. So that is why The Lager Queen of Minnesota is another one of my favorite books. This is by J. Ryan Straddle. He's also written a book called Kitchens of the Great Midwest that I loved too, but this was like the first one of his that I read that I think I liked it even more. He also has a new book coming out in April, but I'm sure I'll talk about that closer to April. So this is about two sisters who are the heiresses to what is essentially Schlitz Brewing Company, super, super old school Midwest brewing company. And one of them, it starts when they're young, teenagers, and kind of how their relationship dynamic is. And then it follows them through adulthood, where when their father passes away, he leaves the entire company, all of the money, to the younger sister. And the older sister is left with nothing, and it's kind of like, why did this happen? It obviously causes a rift between them, and so we flash forward to them as like old people. The older sister who got nothing is working at an Arby's, and she makes pies at a nursing home, and the younger sister is still running the company. The two sisters like have not really spoken, but eventually comes the day when the younger sister needs help from the older one and comes to ask about it. In the meantime, Edith, who is the older sister, is raising her granddaughter because her daughter and her husband have passed away. And her daughter says, like, I like this whole beer thing, I want to learn brewing, and so she grows up and wants to be a brewer too. It's really, that wasn't the best of descriptions because this is a really character-driven book, I think, really, again, about relationships, and I love books about sisters, so this was just absolutely incredible. But I recommend any of the books he's written, which are actually only those two so far, and then the one that comes out in April. But you know what I mean. He's an incredible writer. He knows how to write a character that is real, and this book just was incredible. Next up, I have Fae Far Away by Helen Fisher. This is a book I really don't think I've heard anybody talk about. I won this in a Goodreads giveaway a couple years ago, and it just like, I guess didn't do that well commercially, but it's an incredible book, and let me tell you what it's about. So it's about this woman named Faye who has a husband, a daughter, everything is lovely in her life. She does everything she can to be a great mother, particularly because she grew up without a mother because she died when Faye was very young. So one day she wakes up and it's 1977 and she is still her adult self, but she becomes friends with her mom and herself as like a child, like a 5 or 6 year old, which is just crazy. But her mother doesn't recognize her as being like her little girl grown up, because why would she? That's crazy. But she definitely feels just like something connecting the two of them. They become really good friends, and it sort of becomes like a situation where Faye is like, I have so much to live for in my own life, but am I risking everything I know, my husband, my kids? She does have 2 kids, I was mistaken. Is it worth staying here and living in this sort of fantasy world to be able to be with my mom? She also doesn't know, okay, if she chooses to stay in the past and then somehow her mother figures out her secret, although that would be wild, how will she react and what would the point of all of this be? So this has a really good ending, a really good twist. I guess this is a theme. These are a lot about relationships between humans, and I just love this. It's such a beautiful story. I love a time travel trope, and I think that this needs a lot more attention than it has gotten in the past. Highly, highly recommend this one. So next book is one that I no longer have a physical copy of, but that is Blind Turn by Kara Sue Achterberg. This was published independently a few years ago, and I absolutely loved it. So this is sort of a family drama, but there's a lot more to it than just like within the family. It follows a girl who is just like a straight A student. She's a track star, and she's being raised by her mother in a small town in Texas. And one day she wakes up in a hospital and finds out that she was in a texting and driving accident that ended with the death of the beloved high school football coach. Her mother is positive that she didn't do this because she was so adamant about not texting and driving. Additionally, Jessica has no memory of this accident, of this event, and the only person that was there with her as a witness was her best friend Sheila, who is putting all the blame on Jessica. While Jessica has no way to defend herself because she just doesn't know what happened, the town is vilifying her, and her parents are not together, but her dad is still a part of her life. He's just not been super parental while she's grown up, but he kind of straightens himself out after this, and, you know, they hire a lawyer, but she is just doesn't remember what happened, and she's taking what everyone else says as the truth because it's as much as she knows. Of course, in a small town, everybody has an opinion. This book really focuses on forgiveness, not just of others, but really of ourselves, and how to carry on after a tragedy that seems like, how do you move forward from? One of the themes that I really love in this one is about how this could be anyone. I mean, if you've ever a single time driven while texting, driven while intoxicated, driven while distracted or super tired, this could have happened to you. I mean, this can happen to you even if you're just driving along and you look down to change the radio for like a second. So I think it's really important to keep that in mind. And I think it's just, you know, very important that it drives home that like literally this could happen to everyone. So reserve judgment until you know the facts, because it's just, kindness is free, so there's no reason not to give people the benefit of the doubt and believe the best of them. I loved this book, and I hope that you read it and also love it. This author is also really huge in animal rescue, so I really enjoy supporting her as both an author and a human. I also believe that Blind Turn is on Kindle Unlimited, so if you have that, you can read this one for free, and I highly recommend that you do because I am sure that you will love it. There's probably more that I have, but I'm going to end the video there with these 6 books that not enough people are talking about. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you pick up some of these books and help me get the word out. These are incredible books that need more attention. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, I would love it if you would. I always appreciate the support. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.